Too much fucking crying. Everybody complaining. They don't want to do nothing about it.
Purchase your track today.
They just want shit given to them. They don't want to work for it. They ain't trying to get it out the mud. They ain't about bitches, they ain't about money. They ask why I'm not around, that shit is funny. Time to wrap it up, this shit is mummy. They wasn't sleeping on the streets when I was starving hungry. Eating with the mice, this shit was crummy. Eating leftover bread, that shit crummy. Don't stop sleeping by the fucking pigeon cages. Always in basements, different stages. Awakened by the sun, wipe my eyes, grab my gun. It wasn't fun, standoffs I never run. Too much fucking crying. Everybody complaining. They don't want to do nothing about it.
Purchase your track today.
They just want shit given to them. They don't want to work for it. They ain't trying to get it out the mud. They ain't about bitches, they ain't about money. They ask why I'm not around, that shit is funny. Time to wrap it up, this shit is mummy. They wasn't sleeping on the streets when I was starving hungry. Eating with the mice, this shit was crummy. Eating leftover bread, that shit crummy. Don't stop sleeping by the fucking pigeon cages. Always in basements, different stages. Awakened by the sun, wipe my eyes, grab my gun. It wasn't fun, standoffs I never run. Banging for my rep, front I got a step. The homies getting thrown in trunks by racist punks. Kept some pounds, Hawaiian skunk. Pop told me not to let her, who knocked my head off, it made me quiver. Drop the candy wrapper and the cops could find something bigger. Move all heavy hitters, eat all the quitters, feel the passion in the words that I deliver. Little man screaming, help my mama, domestic drama, put me to sleep like the scammer, clean the llama. For my mama, I came from the mud, slipper roaches, feel my vibe, nobody approaches. Wow.
Myself as Spartans, I love you all. To my good people, join us. I have something on my heart that I must get off my chest. I felt conflicted about this because I actually saved up my money and I bought the most beautiful of Bibles, and I'm so excited to get into it. But I want to finish the first Bible from front to back, and we are also close. As you know, we are approaching the end of Romans. This video is for those of you out there who think that it is easy for one to have faith when they have views like this. It is for those of you out there who see me and judge a book by its cover, like so many do. I think it's time that we go over my story. And for those of you who already know my story, please forgive me. But we have so many new subscribers, and I need them to understand that I'm just like they are. First and foremost, for those of you who think I am scared to show my face, I was literally an international supermodel. If I give you my name, you can put it in your search engine, and my tattoos and face will come up. I am not here for clout. I do not care about likes or followers. All I care about Literally, I work. Let me show you where I work. Come here. Come here, pup. Come here. This is why I work. To take care of my pups. You know why? Because my pups love me unconditionally. That's why I work. I don't care about money. I care about making sure that my pups can go to the vet and that they are well fed. So many nights I was in full depression and didn't want to come home. I wanted to drink and drug myself into oblivion, but I came home because of these pups. I came home because I know they can't feed themselves. So I had to make sure to come home and feed them. How did I get here? Right? Because it must be easy to be faithful when you live in a place with such beautiful views. You're probably thinking to yourself, but how did I, Leonidas, get here? When I was a teenager, I was convicted of a felony for following demons. It is said that those who are favored by the good Lord are too favored by the trash. So unfortunately, I was misguided and I followed the trash right into prison as a teenager. When I came out, I couldn't get a job anywhere. I applied to McDonald's, Home Depot. Nobody would hire me. I met a young lady and she promised me work with her brother in Italy. I went to Italy and I was set up by her family because unfortunately racism does exist. That is too another reason why I cover my face. Because I cannot allow my dogs to be at risk of starvation because someone decides to judge me because they are racist trash. I went to Italy, I was drowned. But luckily, as I told you before, I was an international supermodel. So while they did their best to drown me, I was off going to Milan and modeling and staying afloat. But that only lasted so long. Because again, I do not support modeling and movies and all of these show offs, if you will, because they are ran by demons. Countless times I've had people who call themselves professionals ask to see my manhood. Countless times. And before I did something that I was going to regret because my biggest weakness is my wrath, because I train to eat demons, I decided to stop. Okay? When I came here, I found someone who was in the same profession as my ex-girlfriend, of which whose family set me up in Italy and drowned me. I went to that person and I said, I know how to do what it is that they do. I lied. Because the only job that a teenage felon was able to find was that of washing cars, which I was happy to do. I was washing cars for $8 an hour. That's why I don't feel bad for people. Because I literally come from nothing. I was washing cars for $8 an hour and my rent was $775. Do the math. After I paid my rent, I barely had money to eat Chef Boyardee from the corner store. Some of us choose to work and please the good Lord versus sell drugs and please themselves. So, the person I lied to caught me and allowed me to continue to work there because I had other skills that were profitable. While I used the other skills, he then trained me because I did possess some understanding of the trade due to the fact that I come from that background, the background being automotive. Long story short, that man was a drug addict, addicted to cocaine. And I, as you can see, am pretty ferocious. And I'm also 6'2". This man was about 5'5", 5'6", whatever it is. He suffered from Napoleon complex, would do cocaine and threaten me. So I went out on my own and opened up my own business. Now, how did I get here? Because I know so many of you are saying, oh, it's so easy to believe in the good Lord when you have such a beautiful sight to wake to. Nobody gave me anything. Nothing. My family has shunned me for decades. I come here to you all because you all are my family. And I've had thoughts of going live here on Christmas Day so I don't have to spend Christmas Day by myself yet again. So, being that I began working for myself, I then had to pay taxes for my income. I was sleeping in a truck stop and going to work. I accumulated the IRS's share of taxes, and I then took that money that was due to the IRS and bought myself a house. No one gave me money. There were no handouts. I was sleeping in a truck stop, and I took the money that I was supposed to pay to the IRS for the business that I was doing, and I purchased myself a home because I was tired of sleeping on the streets and having people kick me out whenever they felt emotional. Okay? So I purchased my first home. It was absolutely in shambles. But guess what? It was amazing to me because I was no longer sleeping in a truck stop. What did I do? I rehabilitated the first home, took out a HELOC, HELOC, home equity line of credit, borrowed from the property that I rehabilitated with my hands and made sweat equity, and then paid the IRS their share. Okay? No one gave me anything. Nothing. I haven't seen my parents in decades because they hide from the facts. They tell me, let's not bring up the past and move forward. Well, I'm sorry to tell you, if we do not bring up the past and address it, we only allow it to repeat itself. And if no wrong was done, then what are we hiding from? But again, I don't care to highlight ill. I only want to address the ill so it no longer takes place and we can move forward in a healthy manner. I have nothing to hide from. So I thought to myself, excuse me, COVID-19 hits. My business taken out. I can't work, and I have a house that I just bought. So I'm home thinking, what am I going to do? Wait, there must be more people like myself who would love shelter. So I decided to go the route of helping out low income families, right? Because I myself was low income. I myself slept on the streets and by the pigeon cages. It was wakened by the sun. So I said, oh, this is wonderful. Let's rent out to low income families. Let's help out single mothers. So I did so. The first family, the mother of 5, destroyed my home, destroyed it from head to toe. She told me it was because there was not enough room for her and her family, which she was fully aware of before she moved in, and still decided to move in out of desperation and destroyed my home. You know what I did? I gave her a home twice the size. She destroyed my home, and I gave her a home twice this size in an amazing neighborhood, okay? Let's move on. I then went back to the home she destroyed, got sick from the mold that accumulated due to her destruction, rehabilitated it again, and then rented it out again to another low income family, another mother in distress. Then, due to the fact that I was able to show my business growing and COVID-19 dwindled away, I now had 2 businesses to show, and I was able to then move here. So we go back to the plumbing nightmare. I ended up renting out the first property to a low-income single mother of an autistic child who destroyed the plumbing for about $4,000 worth of damage, in which I did not collect a red cent. Okay? My contractor, whom I have been giving every single project to, blew the estimate on this property by not letting his plumber know that my sewage is in the basement. And now the budget has been blown by about $250,000, and I'm facing default on this home in July. Okay? I had to ask the lady of the plumbing nightmare to move out because I couldn't do it anymore. $4,000 worth of damage. And it gets better. Before I terminated her tenancy, she too had an inspection. She literally had the inspector sniff the drain. Yes, that's right. She had the inspector sniff the drain. I failed the inspection, received a letter from housing telling me there is a smell coming from the drain. If you do not address the smell that is coming from the drain, we are going to abate payment and or stop payment. But luckily, God is great. And before that even took place, I informed her that I cannot continue. And that's when she asked me if she could break the lease. And that's when I allowed her to do so and gave her the security back in full. Meanwhile, it was her responsibility to accommodate the loss of rent. But that's not what I do. I'm trying my best to be righteous. I'm trying my best to make the good Lord smile. So let's continue. Now I've lost the income for that property because my GC blew the estimate and my budget out of the water by nearly $250,000. So I'll have to figure out how to pay for it. So I was going to use the income from the other house in which I moved the demon into, who destroyed the first house, to try and help me get past this little hurdle, if you will. She too had an inspection that she did not make me aware of. And yet again, we failed the inspection. Now, for those of you who don't know, the people who work in housing are miserable demons who could care less that us good people are providing shelter for low-income families. They are miserable and they hate their lives. So I have one who's had it out for me from day one because he's seen a young man who had a home and decided to pass judgment and treat me like trash. We failed the inspection. Now, mind you, I've been getting correspondence from housing for over a year in regards to payment. So they have my address. But coincidentally, they confused my address, okay? And we're not able to inform me that we failed the inspection. And due to the failure, they would terminate payment if it wasn't addressed in 30 days. So I go to my mailbox to check for my payment so I can pay for the shelter in which supports the low-income families. And there's no payment there. What do? I call my tenant. I'm like, hey, what's up? How's everything? I hope the rent that I'm letting you keep is putting food in your family's mouth. Also, I have not received the rent. Do you know anything? She tells me, oh, did you not get the letter? I say, no, ma'am, what letter do you speak of? Oh, well, it says that we failed. And if the failure is not addressed, they are abating payment. Oh, really? She then sends me a picture of the letter that she was aware of for 41 days. She was aware of the failure for 41 days. She knew. This is a low-income single mother who cares more about hurting me than keeping shelter for her own children. So I go to the office and ask for the representative to rectify the situation, and they can care less. They don't care that the address was mistaken. They don't care that the bank wants their money. They don't care that I cannot pay the bank. They don't care that my credit is about to take the biggest hit yet again. So for those of you who think that it is easy to have faith when I sit here at this window, understand that I come from nothing. And I don't care if I lose everything. Because this life means nothing. The only thing that means anything is that Jesus knows you. Does Jesus know you? Does Jesus know you? I'm going to close with this. In my older videos, I mentioned that your dreams can come true if you stop all sin. And I've realized that it is so much greater than that. If you understand that the point of this life is for Jesus to know you and to deem you righteous, therefore granting you eternal life, sin will not even take place in your mind, and especially not in reality. To my selfless Spartans, train! Please eat right. And to my good people, thank you, because I know how easy it is to be a demon. But we all choose the path of the righteous.